So this is an open letter to His Excellency Dr. William Samoei Ruto, CGH, President of the Republic of Kenya, Commander-in-Chief of the Kenya Defense Forces, and party leader of the United Democratic Alliance. It is titled, "Let us stop the pretense, Mr. President. Government is not propaganda." In exercising our constitutional duty as leaders and citizens under Article 1, Article 3, Article 10, Article 73, Article 129, Article 131, and Article 258 of the Constitution of Kenya, and in response to the recent open letter issued by senior officials of the United Democratic Alliance Party against His Excellency President Uhuru Kenyatta, we write this letter in defense of the Constitution, constitutional accountability, democratic governance, national unity, and the sovereignty of the people of Kenya. Acting in our constitutional duty and on behalf of Kenya, we address you on matters of urgent national concern. Your Excellency President Dr. William Samoei Ruto, President of the Republic of Kenya, Commander-in-Chief of the Kenya Defense Forces, and the party leader of the United Democratic Alliance, we write to you directly because the letter issued by the chairperson and the Secretary General of the UDA party was not merely a party communication. It was a political statement issued by officials acting under your authority within a party that you lead in defense of an administration over which you preside. In constitutional democracies, responsibilities cannot be delegated downward when power is exercised from the top. I welcome the Honorable Jane Kiara to read the second part.
The presidency carries both authority and accountability. The officials who signed that letter were not writing on behalf of the ruling party and by extension in defense. The presidency carries both authority and accountability. The officials who signed that letter were writing on behalf of the ruling party and by extension in defense of your government. The buck stops with you, therefore. Indeed, one of the defining obligations of presidency is accountability. A president may delegate functions, but he cannot delegate responsibility. Those who speak in defense of your administration may carry your message, but they cannot carry your constitutional duty. That duty remains yours alone. That is why this response is addressed not to the party officials, but to the President of the Republic of Kenya. The letter issued by UDA was reckless, insulting, diversionary, and deeply disappointing. It was not an act of courage. It was an act of panic. It was not a defense of government performance. It was an admission that your administration has run out of explanations for the growing frustrations of the Kenyan people. More troubling, however, was its attempt to drag the country back into the politics that Kenyans deliberately rejected when they enacted the Constitution of 2010, which you opposed anyway. The Constitution was designed to unite Kenyans, not divide them. It was intended to move our nation away from the dangerous habit of constructing political enemies, mobilizing grievances, and pitting citizens against one another for partisan advantage. Kenyans have painful historical reasons to be worried whenever political leaders revive narrative that divide citizens into opposing camps. The country has not forgotten the toxic 41 against one political rhetoric that became associated with the highly polarized atmosphere surrounding the 2007 general election. That period culminated in one of the darkest chapters in our national history, resulting in deaths of more than 1,300 Kenyans, the displacement of hundreds and thousands of citizens, the destruction of property, and deep national trauma whose effects continue to be felt by many families and internally displaced persons to this day. Your Excellency, your name has frequently featured in public discussions, political analysis, and international legal proceedings relating to that period. Whether viewed through the lens of history, politics, or national reconciliation, the lesson is unmistakable. Responsible leaders must exercise the utmost caution when deploying rhetoric that risks reviving old divisions or encouraging citizens to see one another as political enemies other than fellow Kenyans. The Constitution of Kenya 2010 was adopted precisely to ensure our nation never again travels down that dangerous path.
So invite the Honorable Mwenje to read that part.
Thank you. The repeated effort by senior officers within the ruling party to frame Kenya's challenges through the lens of political enemies, former leaders, and manufactured conspiracies risks deepening regional, political, generational, and social divisions at a time when the country desperately needs unity, healing, and national purpose. As President, your oath of office obligates you to be a symbol of national unity, not a participant in division. It requires you to bring together, not encourage us versus them, political culture that undermines national cohesion and weakens confidence in public institutions. A president is elected to lead the entire nation, not one section against the other. The Constitution does not recognize government supporters and government opponents as separate classes of citizens. It recognizes only Kenyans equal in dignity and entitled to equal protection under the law. Mr. President, Article 131 of the Constitution declares that the President is the head of state and government, a symbol of national unity and a person required to promote and respect the diversity of the people and communities of Kenya. Article 10 binds all state organs and public officers to national values and principles of governance, including patriotism, human dignity, equity, social justice, inclusiveness, integrity, transparency, and accountability. Article 73 further reminds every state officer that authority assigned to a state officer is a public trust to be exercised in a manner that brings honor to the nation, promotes public confidence in the integrity of the office, and serves the people rather than the officer. The oath of office was not an oath to propaganda. It was an oath to blame retired leaders. It was an oath to insult citizens, former presidents, or critics. It was an oath to reopen political fault lines that Kenya has struggled for decades to overcome. It was an oath to protect, defend, and uphold the Constitution and to serve all the people of Kenya. That is why we ask you directly, is the insulting letter issued by UDA the official position of your party and your government? If it is, then Kenyans must know that your administration has abandoned the statesmanship expected of the presidency and embraced a style of politics that diminishes the dignity of the highest office in the land. If it is not, then you have a constitutional and moral duty to disown it. Mr. President, another troubling feature of this administration has been the growing tendency to delegate serious matters of national importance to junior political officials and party functionaries. Questions starting on the economy, public debt, healthcare, constitutional freedoms, national cohesion, and the future of the republic deserve answers from the nation's highest office, not from political surrogates. Leadership requires ownership. Accountability cannot be outsourced. The people of Kenya elected a president, not a chain of spokespersons. The more critical the issue, the greater the obligation of direct presidential accountability. Equally troubling is the increasing participation of cabinet secretaries in overt partisan political measures as state officers entrusted with the administration of government ministries on behalf of the people.